I'll answer your questions for you guys.
Second row left, Ari. Urban, I saw this tweet on Twitter today that said that of the 155 snaps that Jamarco Jones has played this year, he's only allowed 1 quarterback pressure and no sacks. I don't know how accurate that is, but can you just put into terms a little bit of how well he might be playing for you guys and how important it is to have a left tackle that's playing at that level?
Yeah, I think he's playing well. I still think there's more in the tank, too. He had appendicitis this summer, and I don't think he's still at full strength yet, so he's on his way to he's about full strength.
Is he playing at a level that you even higher than maybe you anticipated, or what have you seen on?
No, he hasn't. I guess my expectation of him is to be as good as there is. I think we're heading in that direction, but he was, I didn't know that. That's, the line coach and Kevin Wilson about that. But he's playing good. I just think he could be a great player. He still has more in that tank.
Far left, Lori.
Coach, Maryland's pass numbers against the pass rather aren't great at this point, but so much of that is the Texas game. When you're evaluating film, how can you tell how much of something like that is an actual weakness and how much of it, when it only occurred in one game, is an aberration?
That's something we look at very closely. That's what we do all day long, sitting there watching film and evaluating on statistical analysis. And we realized that that game against Texas was a high-scoring kind of shootout type game, and the other ones had not. So we tend to think that they're, a very good defense. We do take the aberration, as you called it, out a little bit. Not worry about. First of all, we don't really worry about stats. We just worry about personnel and how we're doing against the certain looks they give us.
Have you talked to Tom Herman about what went on in that game, I take it?
I have not. I think our coaches might have had some conversation more about personnel.
Front row right, Austin.
Urban, when you look at the Tracy Sprinkle comeback story, how do you evaluate that? How impressed are you with could have maybe gone a different way a couple years ago?
Yeah, there's a couple really good stories throughout my tenure here about guys that could have turned the wrong way instead of the right way, and he made his family, he was going to turn the right way. We were all together, and that's one thing I think is really cool about our program and really cool about the relationship we have with our families, that was, we're on speed dial. We're not one of those ones where they have to set an appointment to meet with us. It's constant conversation, and he's a great example. I love Frank, I love his family.
And it seems like he's been pretty important for you guys. Draymond's been injured, dealt with some things on the inside.
He's getting better too. He was rusty when he got back, and I could tell he wasn't the same as the last couple of games. He's getting better and better. You're right. Depth is always critical, especially at the defensive line.
Second row or front row left, Doug.
Urban, obviously, when Luke left, you lost a linebacker coach. You've been here for a really long time. We know Bill Davis has a very long resume, but mostly in the NFL. Did you expect any adjustment for a guy coming here? And how do you think him and his group has done the first 5 years?
I thought very average early in the season. Just the unit was average. The energy was average. And, it was a little bit of a culture shock. This is closer to a high school program than a pro program. We're in the development. We're getting 17, 18-year-olds that need to be developed with energy and hands-on and running and sprinting A to B as coaches. And his last 2 weeks have been outstanding. So, I sometimes, that's why I don't really go in that direction very often with a lifelong NFL coach, because it's completely not to disrespect NFL coaches, but this is, I have more high school coaches I've hired than NFL coaches, just because we're in the, we're checking classes, we're finding out who they're dating, we're finding out how many potato chips are on their plate, all that kind of stuff. And sometimes that's not, you're coaching 27, 28-year-old man. So, started slow, but the last couple of weeks were outstanding. And last week was outstanding. The whole unit on special teams and everything.
Front row right, Bill Rabinowitz.
You beat Maryland 62-3 last year. Obviously, they were much improved. Can you give a sense of just how much better they are this year?
Yeah, they went down to Austin, Texas, and beat Texas. A good Texas team, very talented Texas team. And then they went up with their third-string quarterback and beat one of the top defenses in the country, Minnesota. So very good. Not surprised either. Very good area to recruit and very good coaching staff.
Obviously, the Big Ten East is stacked with you and Michigan and State. Maryland's had money invested in them. DJ Durkin's their coach. How close do you think they are and can be to being a real power in this division?
Yeah, Maryland's got a nice little football tradition. I think, once again, to me, it's always about recruiting. What you can sell on your home base. That's strong. that's, I remember when they hired DJ, I thought, doggone, I wish you'd gone somewhere else, because we don't need another one in this side of the conference. I think we got one.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, Urban, especially the other day about the wide receivers, but do you see as a group of Paris, Terry, maybe even Austin Mack, throw those guys in there, blossoming in the last several weeks? And I know the realistic part about who you're playing, but what do you see about them that's catching your eye?
They're grinders, they're non-complainers, they're the most selfish group, for me to say maybe ever. They might be ever. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, because 214 was became a very selfless group. I can't say it was always like that, but this is, I don't know if you've ever a stronger culture in a room than his own 6 kids, guys, and they're fun to watch. Now, where are they talent-wise? Where are they? Are they all NFL players? I kind of think they are. I don't know when, but I think every one of those 6 players are going to play in the National Football League, and they got to continue to get better.
You know, I'm not being facetious here, but has there been any developments in the last couple of days in the locker room? You know, Draymond's deal last week and stuff. Is everybody okay up to this point?
Yeah, we did a full investigation. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Why was it ripped on a locker and all that? What was going on? Because he's a great kid, and so they looked at everything, and but he's good. He's got the brace off. He's walking around. He says they'll pay me free, and we're anticipating a return next week.
Were there major alterations done to the actual locker areas? I mean, in some spots, or you don't know?
Trying to get a first down, man. No, Mick and those guys are in charge of all that.
We got time for a
We can
couple.
walk you through the investigation.
I'm sure there was one.
Third row right, Nick.
You mentioned earlier this season that it's really difficult to block a punt nowadays. You guys almost got one against Oklahoma. You guys almost got a couple last week. Have you guys found something that you think has you pretty close?
Yeah, good players and work real hard at it, but it is much harder. I mean, it used to be the old pro punt. It's much easier to scheme against and go against, and these punters are getting off operation time like our guy gets it off so well. You start getting under 2.0, it's hard just to run a straight line and get there at times. And then they got the quarter rolls, the Aussie guys, which we're facing this week. It takes a lot of work to get there. And it takes a lot of work to get good returns, because they're getting down the field all so fast too. So it's just it's much different than the NFL. In the NFL, you're not allowed to leave until the ball hit. The punter hits the ball. You can't have guys down the field. And in college you can, so it's a much different game in the last 10 years.
And last question, second row right, Tony.
We always ask a couple times a year, where are you in terms of your 9 units strong? Where do you feel
Pretty close, yeah. That's a very good question. And Google all day long and draw circles and those kind of things. And I really like where we're headed. The weakest areas in our team are getting stronger. And I like the coaching that's going on too. So we're heading in the right direction. Just got to keep going.
Do you want to expand on the weakest areas?
Great. Coach, thank you very much.